Well, hi guys, welcome back to Chapter 9 as we look at the political process. And today we're going to be talking about interest groups. We talked about public opinion. How does that differ from interest groups? Well, interest groups, if you read the synopsis, are people who share similar views and goals, and they form an interest group. Interest groups represent a wide variety of attitudes and opinions. Interest groups can affect public policy. So today's going to be kind of short. Why it matters? Well, someone will influence public policy. Somebody's going to. Annie's List was a group of Democrat women that wanted to influence public policy, so they formed a group and wanted to get women elected. You can see their picture there in your book. Texas Federation of Republican Women was another group of women who had very different goals than Annie's List. Annie's List wanted Democrats elected. Texas Federation of Republican Women wanted Republican women elected to office. And so these interest groups had their own particular perspective of what they wanted to do. A special interest group is defined as an association of people. They also are called advocacy groups who hold similar views or goals that try to influence public opinion to achieve those goals. Interest groups are of particular importance to those who feel they are overlooked in the political process. And these can work in local, state, and national levels. They monitor government actions, express themselves about government policies, they can participate in social action, and they can form political action committees. That's right, a PAC is an organization created by interest groups to raise and contribute money legally to campaigns for those who are running for office. We want to talk about interest groups and what they do. First of all, they organize interest. People join interest groups because they're interested, and they're interested in working with others to strengthen what they believe in. Now, examples of interest groups, there are some that are interest groups because of their vocations. Business owners, their teachers' unions, auto workers, government employees all form unions or interest groups. A Second Amendment advocates, or Second Amendment advocates may form the NRA. What is the Second Amendment? That's right, it deals with bearing arms. And so firearm people who want pistols and guns and things, band together in an interest group called the National Rifle Association. And then groups may form for environmental reasons or immigrations. So both sides of the issues. And encouraging participation. Right now, membership is down in interest groups, but contributions to interest groups are up. So membership down, contributions up. Interest groups can supply information to lobby. They can lobby their congressman about voting this way or that and supply them with facts. Interest groups will have websites, NRA, NAACP, National Association of Retired People, any of these interest groups. You can go online and find their website and check them out. And sometimes they advertise. In fact, they often advertise during political campaigns. Back when John Kerry was running against George Bush, the Swift boating ads, and I would encourage you to, you can Google Swift boat, Kerry versus Bush, some very entertaining ads such as this one. And even if I click on it, I don't think you're going to see it, but nevertheless, it's a very interesting ad. John Kerry came back, he participated in the Vietnam War, and he came back and just joined the anti-war movement. And these are people that he served with that said that he did not serve honorably. So the Swift boat ads in this 2004 presidential campaign kind of sunk John Kerry's vote, so to speak. So Look at this. There are all kinds of interest groups. Agricultural groups represent farmers, agricultural interests. National Potato Council, American Farm Bureau Federation, all are agricultural groups. Business groups, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, National Federation of Independent Businesses, trade associations, all focus on business groups. A trade association is a business interest that represents certain industries or parts of industries and supports laws and policies that benefit that industry and oppose those, obviously, that would harm them. Labor groups. Labor groups and business groups both are concerned about working people. Labor unions, groups of workers who do the same job or work in the same industry and band together. Things like the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, Service Employees International Union, AFL-CIO. I myself, at one point when I worked for a truck line, was part of the Teamsters. And so many unions do have part of their membership that focuses on political education, directs the union employees how to engage in political acts, voting among them. And you also have, now that was, what was that again? Agricultural groups, business groups, labor groups. Business and labor are kind of together, similar. And then there are cause-based groups, groups like MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Common Cause is a liberal group that wants to make sure that every vote counts. So they say. Political interest groups, they promote a particular cause. They're cause-based. And then there are societal groups, groups that represent religious, social, racial, ethnic entities. For instance, NOW, National Organization for Women, would represent left-leaning women. Eagle Forum would represent women on the right who tend to be more conservative. Mexican American Legal Defense and Education Fund, MALDEF. NAACP would be a group like this. American Muslims Alliance, Americans Association of Retired Persons, all they represent is groups of society, different segments of society. And then there are professional groups like the American Bar Association, the American Medical Association, that represent lawyers and doctors respectively. And what do some of these special interest groups do? Well, interest groups seek to affect public opinion and public policy at every level of government. And their success is usually based upon hard work. They've got to do the work. They've got to be effective in their communication and money, raising money. And usually these special interest groups will endorse a candidate. Endorse means to politically declare support for a particular candidate in an election. And endorsements come as a result of a particular candidate's support for the interests that a group has. Interest groups usually have PACs, voter PACs, political action committees, yeah. And these PACs can take money in and they can dole it out. And they can support candidates. And sometimes the PACs will split their contributions, or the interest groups will split their contributions. The National Association of Realtors in 2006 gave $3.7 million. 48% of that went to Democrats, 51% to Republicans. And you say, why? Why did they do that? Because whoever wins, they can always say, well, we were there for you. We supported you. So sometimes they do things like that. You may be surprised to know that Donald Trump supported Democrats and Republicans before he ran as a Republican for president. Because before that, he was a businessman. Lobbying. Lobbying is contacting a public official to try to persuade the official to support the group's interests through the use of influence and information. And these groups, interest groups, also inform public opinion. They want to be grassroots. That's the lowest level of the organization. They want to influence the grassroots so that people vote for their candidates. And they can file lawsuits. NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, in 1954, they represented Linda Brown in Brown versus Board of Education, Topeka, Kansas, which overturned Plessy v. Ferguson and did away with segregated schools. Well, that is fascinating. Interest groups in the public good, American democracy involves majority rule and minority rights. Some interest groups represent majority interests. Some interest groups represent minority interests. And so it behooves them to get their interest on the political agenda. So there are benefits to being part of an interest group. They give minority interest a voice in the political process, such as the NAACP. But there's also some criticism that should be leveled at interest groups too. Sometimes they can exert too much influence so that the common person feels left out. And sometimes they focus on one narrow interest and ignore the broader social interests or the social needs of society as a whole. And oftentimes, these special interest groups, they're good at this, appealing to people's emotions rather than offering solutions. And sometimes these interest groups work against one another, oftentimes, which results in gridlock, a stalemate. Nobody can go one way or the other because Congress is all tied up. And there have been some limits on interest groups. In 2007, ethics and lobbying reform legislation was passed by Congress to limit how much money could be given and how money could be spent and things of that nature. So you want to read a little bit more about that in your text. And this is a real problem too. Legislators, their first job is to get reelected. And to get reelected, you need money. And you need to ask people for money. And people usually give money, but there may be strings attached. And so if they give money to a legislature, he may feel inclined to vote this way or that. And this comic kind of points that out. You see there are two state lawmakers who obviously just enjoyed a good meal and bib. And after that scrumptious free dinner and drinks with the lobbyists, I've decided to vote against the ethics bill. Me too. Happens too often, I'm afraid. Okay, that's all Mr. Howard has for today. Happy reading, take the quiz, and I'll see you tomorrow.